585 days ago, I posted this video.
Around 4 months ago, I decided to quit social media for good, delete everything, delete TikTok, Snapchat, Instagram.
Where I talked about what it's like to quit social media and what the benefits are of quitting. I remember I started to get fed up with social media when I was in 8th grade, and I was spending multiple hours every single day scrolling on TikTok, watching YouTube videos, being on Snapchat, and I just really didn't enjoy it that much. But for some reason, I was just stuck in that loop, that cycle, and everyone else was doing it. So I just kept doing it for a while, getting more and more fed up with it. And there's this funny story where I was getting really annoyed with it, and I started texting my friend about how I don't like social media, and I was like, it's so stupid, why is everyone using it? And he just said to me, why are you saying all this? You're not gonna do anything. You still use it every single day. He was just saying, you're not gonna do shit. And you know what I texted him? I was like, oh really? I'm about to delete TikTok right now. And he was just like, no, you're not going to. You're not gonna do it. You won't. And then I sent him this screen recording. It was the first time that I had ever deleted TikTok, and it would be the last time that that app was ever on my home screen. And that story happened 858 days ago. That was the date of that screen recording. It has been a very long time since that day and since I posted that video, and I think it's time for an update. A ton has changed in my life, but before I get into this, I just want to mention that I do have a free course inside my free community. It's the top link in the description. You can go there right after finishing this video. This one decision of quitting social media, of deleting all of these apps, has been the most life-changing decision I have ever made on self-improvement. The most life-changing. It changed everything for me. And I'm not going to explain to you why social media is bad for you. You already know why. What I really want to show you is what the benefits are, the actual benefits of quitting social media. But this time, not for a short period of time, but what happens after you quit social media for a very long period of time. I'm going to be going through these benefits from least to most life-changing, so stick around to the end to see what really happens when you quit social media. The first benefit that I'm going to be talking about is no more FOMO, not having the fear anymore of missing out. And I know this sounds like a really weird thing, like this isn't a benefit. I thought this was the main problem when you quit social media. You get this fear that you're missing out on everything. And yeah, kind of at first, but after a long time passes, you realize a couple of things. Because in my opinion, there are these two types of FOMO that people get, and you get both of them right after you quit. One is that you think you're missing out on all of these things that are going on in people's lives, and you're not getting updates about people's lives anymore. That you're gonna be sort of out of the loop with information and gossip and all this different stuff. And the second type of FOMO is that you're missing out on real life experiences, that people aren't inviting you to stuff because you're not on social media, that people are gonna kind of forget about you, and you're gonna be missing out on everything. But as time passes, you come to two realizations. The first realization is that nobody is actually having that much fun. Nobody is living this crazy social life. It just looks like it because social media is a facade. It's not what people's lives are really like. And the second realization is that you don't actually care about what's going on in most people's lives. The sort of final realization, the culmination of everything, is that you realize FOMO doesn't exist. You aren't missing out on anything. Social media is just where people put their best moments, their best pictures, their most fun moments. It's the most stylized, fake version of their life. But in your mind, you think all these other people, they're living this crazy social life, this popping social life that you want. But when you get away from this online world, you start to realize what reality really is. And the truth is that every single person wants what nobody has. Nobody is truly living this crazy popping social life where everybody is just doing super fun things all the time. And this is so especially true for people at a young age, for teenagers. Nobody is really living it up that much. So there is nothing that you're missing out on. There's nothing to be worried about. And the other thing that people say is, but if I quit social media, then I'm not going to be able to know what's going on in other people's lives. I'm just going to be completely out of the loop in everything. Do you really care about what's going on in most people's lives? When you click on someone's story, are you like, wow, I'm so glad I clicked on this story to learn about this person's life? Or do you just instantly scroll by it to the next story? The people that you do actually care about, you'll keep up with them. You'll still text them. You'll stay in contact because you want to. All the other friends that you used to have online, they'll completely vanish from your brain. You won't think about them anymore and you won't care. In my opinion, you get more FOMO just from seeing all these other people, your friends, more successful people than you, doing all this crazy stuff all the time, but no one is actually living that life. Social media is not reality, but when you're constantly on the app, it's hard to feel like you're not missing out when everyone is doing these super fun things all the time. The second benefit that I'm going to be talking about is learning which friends are real friends. In a video a long time ago, I talked about how you have friends by proximity. And these are friends that you are only friends with because you do something with them. You go to school with them, you do some other activity with them. And if that activity was to be gone, if you were to never go to school with them again, if you would never see them at this set place, you wouldn't actually talk to them. You wouldn't be friends with them. You wouldn't keep up with them. And right now, I want you to think of those friends, your friends by proximity. Who are the people that you're only friends with because of some certain condition? Because you go to school with them or because you do X with them. And so right now, you already have a good idea of which friends are sort of the real ones and which ones are the ones that you just call your friends. When you quit social media, you quickly realize which people stay in contact with you and are actively trying to talk to you and to call you and to invite you to things, and which ones seemingly forget about you. What you come to understand is that you think you have a lot of friends, but in reality, most people don't have more than 10 friends. Having more than 10 friends is a lie. The whole list of people that you have added on Instagram and Snapchat, those aren't your friends. Your real friends will still be there for you, even if you don't have an online presence. It's so much better to have less friends that are actually good, true friends than to have a bunch of fake friends. The third benefit that slowly starts to get better and better over time is having improved focus. The average attention span of a human is 8 seconds, which is actually 1 second less than the attention span of a goldfish. I would say that that's not very good. I've told this story before, but last year during history class, my teacher put on a documentary, and I think the documentary was a World War II documentary, lots of old footage and like war stuff going on, and it was pretty well made, it was well done, it was pretty enjoyable to watch. And halfway through the documentary, I was actually locked in on it the whole time. I was watching it for the entirety that it was playing. And halfway through the documentary, I just decided to take a look around the classroom. And as I look to my left, I see that everyone is scrolling. Their heads are down, their thumbs are swiping away every couple of seconds. I look behind me, and it's the same exact thing. I look to the right, it's the same exact thing. Literally every single person in the classroom is scrolling when there's a full-ass documentary playing on the screen. It's absolutely no surprise why teenagers have absolute terrible focus, why it's so hard to get things done for a lot of people, to really focus and finish tasks. Your attention span has been destroyed by constant distraction. But when you don't have the option to scroll, you're forced to focus, to learn how to focus better, to actually get shit done without defaulting to, oh, I need to go scroll on TikTok, or I have this impulse to go scroll, and you go do it. When you don't have the option, you actually learn what it means to focus. I literally wouldn't be able to do anything that I've done, anything that I've built in these last couple of years if my focus was constantly being taken away from me by scrolling, by social media. It literally would have been impossible. And probably most obvious benefit of them all is more time. I'm not going to explain this one in detail because it's pretty obvious. The average person spends 5 hours a day on their phone, and that ends up turning into years and years of people's lives spent scrolling. If you were to spend 4 hours a day every single day on your phone until you live to 80 years old, then you'd spend around 9 whole entire years of your life scrolling. Just realize how absurd that is, how insane that is. Everyone knows that time is extremely valuable. It's the resource that we never get back. I gained back 9 years of my life when I stopped scrolling. And so far, that time has been spent building this YouTube channel, building a great physique, and actually becoming healthier and smarter and learning more, becoming the version of myself that I actually want to be. I simply was able to do all of this because I had more time to do the right things. The fifth benefit that actually happens very quickly, but the one that feels the most amazing, is having peace of mind. I can't even tell you how much happier, how much my mental health improved, how much more present and at peace I was just because I couldn't scroll anymore, because I decided that I didn't want that in my life. But it's such an amazing thing to feel like you are free, that you have control. That's what it felt like. I felt like I was in full control now of my life, and I didn't have this compulsive behavior looming over me all the time. I actually started to do what I cared about and to be more present with my family, and all of it felt so good. Anyone else that I've talked to that has gone through this experience literally says the same thing to me. It's really hard to describe how you feel, but you just feel so much better. It's this whole combination of things that makes you feel like you are truly in control and free. And if you don't do this for any of the other reasons, do it for this one, because it will make you feel the best the fastest. You are trapped in this cycle of scrolling every single day. They are built to be addicting. These apps are made to keep you on it for as long as possible. And when you quit, you'll feel like a drug addict that has finally gone sober. It just feels amazing. That's all I can really say about it. The sixth and final benefit, the most life-changing of them all, is that delayed gratification became my new normal. For the longest time, my life was all about instant gratification. It was about video games and junk food and scrolling and porn. That was my life. That's what I constantly chased. I chased the dopamine highs all the time. And then when I finally started to gain some sense and I realized that this probably wasn't the best way to live my life and decided to quit social media, I had this switch flip in my brain. It was no longer about all the bad habits. It was no longer about chasing instant gratification. It was all about future me. It was all about creating the life that I wanted, a purposeful, fulfilling life that truly mattered. A life that served me, that served God, that didn't take away from me, but actually gave to me. I no longer wanted to live this useless, unfulfilling life. I wanted something real. I wanted to build something that I was proud of. Delayed gratification was my new normal. It always served me, and instant gratification was my enemy. And from that point on, I just kept furthering and furthering myself from instant gratification and getting closer to what really mattered. It was all about the healthy habits and building my YouTube channel and building my physique. And it was so much better than the way I'd lived my life before, because I was controlled by all of the bad habits before. And when I finally quit one of the worst ones, I realized what my life could truly be like. You can be great and you can achieve so much in your life, more than you could even imagine. And what I know for certain is that the potential that you have, you can't even comprehend it right now. The things that you could achieve in your life, you wouldn't even be able to think of. And it would be the greatest shame to waste that potential scrolling on TikTok and Instagram Reels. Now that I've shown you the benefits, I've shown you what happens when you quit social media, it's your choice. Only you will know if you decided to make the sacrifice for future you, or if you were selfish and decided that you wanted all the pleasure of instant gratification right now. It's your choice. I hope you make the right one. Scroll down right now and hit the subscribe button. Like the video if you enjoyed. Click the top link in the description. And as always, never stop improving. You'll be grateful for it later.